The door to time opens, and a real medieval town with narrow cobbled streets, fortress walls, and houses where knights and craftsmen lived not so long ago appears before your eyes. Such places really exist today. They are hidden from the hustle and bustle of the modern world, preserving the atmosphere of mystery and ancient history, as if caught in the captivity of centuries. Every stone, every arch tells its own stories here, conveying the echoes of bygone eras when life flowed differently, slower, but rich and full of meaning. Where are the most amazing and hidden medieval cities that can transport anyone to the past at a glance? What secrets do their narrow streets and lost squares hold? This question beckons those who are eager to discover the secrets of time, to touch living history and feel the breath of antiquity, which could not be erased by time and human progress. Such cities, hidden in the most unexpected corners of the planet, are ready to reveal their treasures and immerse you in the atmosphere of the true Middle Ages. Rothenburg ob der Tauber is like stepping off the pages of a fairy tale book. Its perfectly preserved houses with carved facades and narrow streets seem caught in an eternal medieval silence. The town has preserved the atmosphere of knights' tournaments and medieval fairs, and there are even festivals where residents wear costumes from those centuries. Rothenburg has survived numerous wars and fires, but thanks to careful restoration, every stone preserves the memory of the past. Visitors often say that in this city you can feel the breath of history so strong and alive that it seems that you can hear the footsteps of bygone eras. Bruges is a city where time seems to have stood still in the 14th century. In every canal, bridge, and house breathes history and romance. This medieval town has been the setting for many legends and works of fiction, including the famous movie Bruges, My Love. Its stone sidewalks and Gothic towers create a unique image that has inspired artists and poets for hundreds of years. Despite its popularity, Bruges remains cozy and quiet, allowing you to immerse yourself in the atmosphere of quiet medieval life. Carcassonne is one of the most impressive medieval fortresses in Europe, with powerful double walls that still impress with their grandiosity and defense mechanisms. This fortress city, like an impregnable fortress of knights, played an important role during the Crusades and became a symbol of medieval military art. Its narrow streets and towers preserve stories of sieges and heroism that inspire travelers and historians. Restored in the 19th century, Carcassonne today lives its own legend, where history combines with lively culture and festivities. Cinque Terre is 5 picturesque villages hanging on steep cliffs above the Ligurian Sea, as if painted with an artist's brush. These brightly colored houses and narrow paths through vineyards seem like a refuge from time and storms, where nature and man have created a perfect harmony. Fishermen and winemakers still live here, passing on their knowledge from generation to generation, preserving the spirit of ancient traditions. Overlooking the vast sea and the singing of the seagulls, Cinque Terre is mesmerizing in its simplicity and charm, leaving you wanting to return again and again. Colmar is the Pearl of Alsace, a city where narrow canals and colorful facades create a unique image of a medieval fairy tale. This city has inspired many artists, including Vincent van Gogh, who lived and worked here. Colmar is known for its colorful markets and festivals that bring the history and culture of the region to life. Strolling through its streets, you can feel the past and present intertwine in a magical dance. Gdansk is a city with a rich trading history, where medieval buildings are juxtaposed with Renaissance architecture. Its harbor was a key point on the route of the Hanseatic League, making the city an important center of trade and culture in Northern Europe. The spirit of sea travel and adventure is still felt in the narrow streets, and the brightly colored facades of the buildings create an atmosphere of festivity and comfort. The city was badly damaged during World War II, but it was rebuilt with an extraordinary love of detail, allowing its historic beauty to be seen today. Tallinn's Old Town is one of the best preserved medieval centers in Europe, with strong walls, towers, and narrow cobbled streets. Its atmosphere is full of mystery and legends, where every stone wall holds tales of knights, merchants, and mystical events. Tallinn is famous for its ancient churches and cozy taverns, where you can taste medieval cuisine. Here, antiquity and modernity neighbor so harmoniously that the city feels like a living open-air museum. Nestled on the slope of the Amalfi Coast, Ravello charms with its airy lightness and majestic architecture. This town has often been a haven for poets and composers, inspired by its beauty and peace. Narrow streets and terraces overlook the azure sea, creating a sense of peace and harmony with nature. In the evening, the music of the festivals is played here, which seems to take you back in time to the era of knights and courtiers. Trogir is a small medieval town located on an island connected to the mainland by an ancient stone bridge. Its historic center is a true open-air museum with a mix of Renaissance and Romanesque architecture. Trogir has preserved the spirit of a maritime republic when traders and sailors intertwined their destinies at the crossroads of sea routes. Every house and church here seems to hold the secrets of ancient voyages and adventures. Eggersberg is a small town with a picturesque castle, which is considered one of the best examples of medieval architecture in Austria. The castle stands on a hill surrounded by green meadows and forests, like a guard post of the past. Its walls and towers preserve legends of knights and defenders whose bravery and honor still inspire the locals. In Eggersberg, you can experience a special atmosphere of seclusion and tranquility, immersing yourself in a history that seems alive here. San Marino is one of the smallest and oldest Republican states in the world, surrounded on all sides by the Italian Alps. Its fortress towers seem to guard a history of more than 1,700 years of uninterrupted existence. The city impresses with its spirit of independence and freedom, which is especially valuable for a small country. Here, the ancient streets and squares are still alive with the traditions of ancient crafts and festivals. Mediev is a cozy town that preserves the atmosphere of a quiet French province with centuries-old streets and stone houses. Its inhabitants are proud of medieval traditions and crafts that have been passed down from generation to generation. The city seems to be frozen in time, allowing you to touch authentic history without too much pathos. During the spring and summer months, Mediev is filled with flowers and fragrances, creating a unique sense of coziness and tranquility. San Gimignano is called medieval Manhattan for its tall towers, which in the Middle Ages served as symbols of wealth and power of families. These towers still rise majestically above the city, preserving the spirit of former rivalries and ambitions. The narrow cobbled streets and medieval houses seem to transport visitors back to the era of knights and merchants. San Gimignano is also known for its winemaking tradition, especially its famous white wine, Vernaccia. Gross-Rodersdorf is a small town where medieval architecture harmonizes surprisingly with nature. Here are preserved old stone houses and cozy squares, filled with quiet stories of past centuries. The town seems to have taken refuge from the hustle and bustle, offering travelers the opportunity to immerse themselves in an atmosphere of solitude and peace. The locals lovingly restore traditions and hold festivals that tell about life in the Middle Ages. Vilnius Old Town is a real labyrinth of narrow streets, medieval temples, and palaces that have preserved the atmosphere of thousands of years of history. Gothic, Baroque, and Renaissance have blended here, creating a unique architectural ensemble that captivates at first sight. Vilnius has been a center of religious and cultural diversity, which can be felt in every stone and arch. Its streets are filled with legends of knights, merchants, and monks, making a walk through the city a true journey through time. Obidos is a picturesque medieval walled town that looks like a real fairy tale castle. Narrow cobbled streets and snow-white houses with bright colors create an atmosphere of comfort and warmth. Obidos is famous for its festivals, where traditions and costumes of past centuries come to life. The town was a gift from the Queen to the Portuguese people as a sign of love and respect, which gives it a special historical significance. Villefranche-sur-Mer is an ancient port town on the Côte d'Azur, where the sea and history are intertwined in a unique union. Its picturesque harbor and narrow streets preserve the spirit of the era of knights and traders who arrived here centuries ago. The town was an important strategic point protected by fortress walls, which gives it a special atmosphere of protection and secrecy. Today, Villefranche-sur-Mer is a destination for artists and travelers looking for inspiration in every detail. Mont Saint-Michel is a fortress island rising from the waters of the sea like a mythical castle from legends and tales. Its narrow streets and stone buildings preserve centuries of pilgrimage and spiritual quest. The tide turns the island into a natural wonder, creating the effect of mysterious appearance and disappearance. This place has long been a symbol of resilience and faith, striking a chord with everyone who sets foot on its ancient sidewalk. Bled is a fairy tale place with a turquoise lake and a castle standing on a steep cliff, as if guarding the peace and beauty of nature. Legends about the bell tower on the island and the wishing bell make this place special for everyone who believes in miracles. Bled is not just a tourist center, but a place where history intertwines with nature and inner peace. Strolls on the lake on a wooden boat and the taste of traditional cream cake leave unforgettable impressions. Calixtrat is a small but wonderfully picturesque village on the side of a Greek mountain, where tradition and history permeate every path and stone. People still live here, carefully preserving ancient crafts and rituals, passing them down from generation to generation. Calixtrat is surrounded by olive groves and vineyards, which creates a unique flavor and atmosphere of the real Greece. This corner of the country invites you to touch the essence of Mediterranean culture and life. Camaldo is a quiet Italian town immersed in the greenery of ancient forests and mountain slopes. Its narrow cobbled streets retain the breath of the Middle Ages, as if time flows differently here. Camaldo is famous for its monasteries and spiritual centers, where ancient manuscripts and shrines have been preserved for centuries. There is a special atmosphere of seclusion and peace that attracts pilgrims and history buffs. Bergen is a harbor city where the narrow wooden houses of the Bryggen waterfront seem to tell stories of Vikings and seafarers. Its fjords and mountains provide a striking natural backdrop that makes the city unique on the map of Europe. Bergen is often called the gateway to a Nordic fairy tale. Culture, commerce, and the rugged beauty of nature meet here. The historical center is included in the UNESCO World Heritage List, which confirms its exceptional significance. Dürnstein is a picturesque town on the banks of the Danube, famous for its medieval castle and the story of Richard the Lionheart's imprisonment. Narrow streets framed by ancient houses create an atmosphere as if you have fallen into a book fairy tale. Here, the river and the mountains merge into a marvelous landscape that has inspired artists and poets. Dürnstein keeps the secrets of past eras, making everyone feel the spirit of chivalry and adventure. Petra is one of the world's most fascinating ancient capitals, carved in pink sandstone and hidden among the mountains. This city seems to come alive with every step. The grand temples, tombs, and amphitheaters are breathtaking in scale and beauty. Its streets were once a bustling trading center for caravans connecting east and west. Nowadays, Petra beckons travelers with its mystery and the power of historical grandeur. Lucca is a city surrounded by perfectly preserved fortress walls that now serve as a picturesque walking area for residents and visitors. Inside these walls hides a maze of cozy squares, ancient towers, and majestic cathedrals. The city has preserved its medieval spirit, combining it with a lively cultural life and festivals. Lucca is famous for its musical traditions, including the birthplace of the great composer Puccini. Pilsen is the city that gave the world the legendary Pilsner beer, whose taste has become a benchmark for millions of hop lovers. Here, medieval streets neighbor with industrial heritage, and local brewing traditions have been carefully preserved for more than 170 years. The city is literally imbued with an atmosphere of fun and festivity that can be felt at every corner. Pilsen is a place where history meets craftsmanship and beer becomes art. Polyana Droy is a cozy spa town where natural mineral springs and forest landscapes create ideal conditions for recreation and recovery. Its old villas and parks reflect the rich heritage of 19th century spa culture. The locals are proud of their town, which skillfully combines tradition and modern comfort. Polyana's Droy is a place where people come for fresh air and harmony of the soul. Monteguito is a small Italian town known for its vineyards and winemaking traditions passed down from generation to generation. Its picturesque hills and ancient farms create a feeling of endless summer and tranquility. Monteguito holds the spirit of rural Italy, where every day is filled with a taste of real life. Here you can feel the connection with nature and history, which are intertwined in every sip of local wine. Speyer is a city rich in history, where the majestic UNESCO-listed cathedral stands as a symbol of medieval power and religious grandeur. The most important imperial meetings and coronations took place here, and the streets preserve the memory of great events of the past. The architecture of Speyer delights with its grandiosity and refinement of detail. The city lives and breathes history, attracting those who want to experience the grandeur of the era. Ravenna is a veritable open-air museum with some of the finest Byzantine mosaics in the world. The city was the capital of the Western Roman Empire and the most important religious center of the Middle Ages. Every church and mausoleum here seems to tell legends of faith, power, and art. Ravenna inspires reflection on time and eternity, preserving the secrets of ancient masters. Dijon is a city rich in the history of the Dukes of Burgundy, where every street is imbued with an atmosphere of medieval luxury and power. It is the birthplace of the famous Dijon mustard, whose pungent flavor has become a symbol of French cuisine. The old center has preserved magnificent houses with carved facades and picturesque squares, creating the feeling of a walk through time. Dijon attracts not only historians, but also gourmets, for whom this city is a true gastronomic paradise. Sigashora is a living monument of the Middle Ages, the fortress city where the legendary Count Dracula was born. Its narrow cobbled streets and colorful houses seem to preserve the breath of past centuries. Here, every stone keeps secrets and legends that create a mystical atmosphere. The city surprisingly harmoniously combines the spirit of history and the coziness of modern cafes, beckoning tourists from all over the world. Florence is the cradle of the Renaissance, where every street breathes the art and culture of the greatest masters. Majestic cathedrals and palaces tell the stories of the Medici and their patronage of artists. The city is like a living gallery where you can meet the works of Michelangelo, Da Vinci, and Botticelli at every turn. Florence leaves an indelible impression, filling the soul with inspiration and awe. Kotor is a small town on the Adriatic Sea, hidden among majestic mountains and ancient fortress walls. Its labyrinth of narrow streets and squares create a sense of mystery and adventure. Kotor has preserved its medieval spirit, and the view of the bay reflecting the lights of evening lanterns mesmerizes everyone. The city impresses with its combination of sea freshness and depth of history. Cambrils is a cozy seaside town with ancient roots and picturesque seafront, where you can feel the rhythm of real Spanish life. Fishing boats and sea restaurants here neighbor with historical monuments and narrow streets. Cambrils is famous for its atmosphere of coziness and tranquility, an ideal place to relax after exploring the more bustling cities. On summer evenings, there is music and laughter, filling the air with joy. Riga is a city with a unique combination of Gothic and Art Nouveau, where ancient buildings are juxtaposed with exquisite Art Nouveau facades. The Old Town holds many secrets of the Middle Ages. Its narrow streets seem to invite you to travel through time. Riga is famous for its musical and cultural heritage, hosting world-class festivals and concerts. This city beckons with its mystery and charm of Northern Europe. Jerusalem is the holy city, where monuments of three world religions and the history of millennia are concentrated. Its ancient walls and narrow neighborhoods preserve the memory of great events and people who influenced the fate of mankind. Every stone of the old city breathes holiness and mysticism, filling the hearts of pilgrims with awe. Jerusalem is a place where the past meets the present, creating a unique atmosphere of spirituality. Rio Maggiore is a bright and picturesque coastal town on the Ligurian Riviera, where colorful houses seem to be lined up in an endless rainbow. Its steep streets and staircases lead to the turquoise sea, tantalizing with its freshness and tranquility. Rio Maggiore is part of the legendary Cinque Terre, a place where nature and history merge into a picturesque masterpiece. Here, every visitor gets a taste of real Italy and freedom. Avila is a fortress city with strong walls, surrounded by legends of medieval knights and saints. Its ancient towers and gates create a sense of impregnability and grandeur. Avila has preserved ancient monasteries and churches that attract not only tourists, but also pilgrims. This city is a symbol of the strength of spirit and architectural genius of the past. Gallipoli is a picturesque port city on the Adriatic coast, where history meets maritime romance. Its narrow streets and ancient fortifications tell the story of the struggle for control of the sea lanes. Gallipoli is famous for its fishing traditions and rich cuisine, full of the flavors of fresh seafood. In the evening, the city comes alive with lights and music, creating a real party atmosphere. The Latin Quarter of Paris is a vibrant center of intellect and art, where philosophers, poets, and students have gathered for centuries. The narrow streets and ancient bookstores preserve the spirit of the Renaissance and the French Revolution. One of the oldest universities in Europe, the Sorbonne, is located here, which for centuries has inspired young people in their quest for knowledge. In the evening, the quarter is filled with cafe lights and music, creating a unique atmosphere of creativity and freedom. Colmar is like a fairy tale come to life with its brightly colored facades and flowery balconies, steeped in the romance of Alsace. This town has inspired artists and writers with its medieval charm and cozy streets. The old town has preserved magnificent Gothic churches and picturesque canals that seem to invite you to take a walk through time. In Colmar, you can feel how history becomes part of everyday life, and every stone breathes warmth and beauty. Portage de Vesoul is a tiny but very picturesque medieval town hidden among the hills of Burgundy. Its fortress walls and narrow streets create an atmosphere of mystery and grandeur of bygone eras. Here you can feel the past breathing in every corner, from the stone houses to the ancient gates. Portage de Vesoul is the ideal place for those seeking peace and inspiration away from the bustling cities. The old town of Banja Luka is a wonderful blend of Eastern and European influences, where culture and history intertwine. The narrow streets are filled with the aromas of spices and the sounds of traditional music, as if transporting you back in time. Here you can see ancient mosques and Orthodox churches living in harmony for centuries. Banja Luka leaves a deep emotional impression with its warmth and authenticity. Alexandria is a city where the legends of antiquity and the buzz of modernity meet, preserving the spirit of the Great Library of Alexandria. The old city feels the power of a cultural heritage that has attracted scholars and travelers for centuries. The narrow streets and seafront create a unique mood, filling the air with sea freshness and history. Alexandria inspires reflection on the greatness of the human spirit and the continuity of knowledge. Santa Fe de Montel is a small town with cobblestone streets and an authentic Andalusian atmosphere, as if steeped in the past. Its whitewashed houses and floral windows create a feeling of comfort and tranquility despite its rich history. This city has the spirit of tradition passed down through generations and the warm friendliness of the locals. Santa Fe de Montel seems to invite you to immerse yourself in the measured rhythm of Spanish life. Andorra la Vella is a tiny capital in the mountains, where modernity meets ancient traditions. Its narrow streets with stone houses and small stores create the atmosphere of a mountainous medieval town. The town is famous for its thermal springs and picturesque views that give a sense of peace and tranquility. Andorra la Vella is a place where you can feel the breath of the Alps and experience the cultural heritage at the same time. Palencia is a city rich in history and architecture that is often left off the tourist itineraries, but this only adds to its magic. Its cathedral and ancient walls tell stories of the knights and medieval kings who lived here. The narrow streets of Palencia have a spirit of tranquility and mystery, as if time flows slower here. This city is an ideal destination for those seeking a deep historical experience away from the hustle and bustle. Tossa de Mar is a charming coastal town with a well-preserved fortress and cobblestone streets that will forever be remembered. Its ancient walls and ancient towers seem to guard the secrets of knights and maritime adventures. Tossa de Mar is famous for its beaches, where the clear water and the ancient town create a unique contrast. This city is a real journey back in time with a taste of the sea breeze. Liege is a city with a rich industrial and cultural heritage, where ancient churches are juxtaposed with picturesque markets and cozy cafes. Its old center is full of life and history, reflecting centuries of tradition and modernity. Liege is known for its musical heritage and hospitality, creating a real party atmosphere. This city leaves a warm and unforgettable impression on everyone who comes here. Graz charms with its harmony between medieval architecture and lively modern spirit in its UNESCO-listed historic center. Narrow streets, medieval towers, and Schlossberg Castle make it feel as if time has stood still. The city is famous for its festivals and university atmosphere, which gives it a youthful energy. Graz combines antiquity and innovation, making it unique and appealing. The old town of Palma, the capital of Mallorca, is a picturesque maze of narrow streets with ancient cathedrals and romantic squares. The Gothic Cathedral of Laseo, with its impressive stained glass windows, seems to illuminate the history of the island. In the evenings, the square in front of the cathedral comes alive with music and the aromas of Mediterranean cuisine. Palma combines a rich cultural heritage with the cheerful atmosphere of a resort town. Genoa is a city of sailors and merchants, where medieval streets narrowly weave together to create an atmosphere of mystery and adventure. The old town is filled with palaces and narrow alleys that preserve stories of great maritime expeditions. Genoa gave the world Christopher Columbus, and the spirit of great discovery is in the air. The city impresses with its authenticity and grandeur against the backdrop of the Mediterranean Sea. Here in the labyrinth of cramped streets, it is as if you can hear the rustle of sails and the shouts of fishermen selling their catch at the quay. Genoa was an important center of the Maritime Republic, where commerce and political intrigue were bustling, and its port served as a gateway to unknown worlds. Hidden among the ancient stone houses are tales of riches and downfalls, of power struggles and dreams of new lands. Majestic Renaissance palaces are juxtaposed with simple artisan dwellings, showing the versatility of life in the city. Today, Genoa is not only a historical monument, but also a vibrant city with a rich cultural life, museums, theaters, and festivals that attract travelers from all over the world. Strolling along the waterfront, it is easy to imagine how great seafarers once set sail here, changing the course of history. Montpellier is a city of sunshine and youth, where every stone is steeped in history and art. Cozy squares and ancient buildings create a unique French charm. This city is a center of science and culture, where every corner breathes inspiration. Montpellier has the joie de vivre and warmth of the south of France. Its ancient universities attract students from all over Europe, and its narrow streets are full of cafes where residents and visitors enjoy aromatic coffee and lively conversation. Montpellier, despite its ancient character, remains dynamic and modern, with tradition and innovation closely intertwined. The Place de la Comédie, with its fountain and theater, is the center of attraction for all who want to touch the life of the city. In summer, the streets are filled with music and street performers, creating a unique flavor. The city is famous for its Renaissance architecture and ancient bridges, as well as cozy gardens and parks where you can retreat and enjoy the tranquility. Montpellier is like a living open-air museum where every stone tells of a great past and a bright future. San Sebastian enchants not only with its beauty on the shores of the Bay of Biscay, but also with its gastronomic delights that make it a true gourmet mecca. The old town, with its narrow streets and picturesque squares, holds the secrets of history and festivity. The city is filled with the energy of festivals and cultural events that leave no one indifferent. San Sebastian is a place where nature and culture merge in perfect harmony. Its golden beaches beckon not only sun lovers, but also those seeking peace and inspiration. During the annual film festival, the city transforms into an international arts center, attracting celebrities and film lovers from all over the world. In the evening, the streets come alive with tapas bars and live music, creating a unique atmosphere of warmth and joy. The people of the city are proud of their history and traditions, passing them down from generation to generation through music, dance, and culinary recipes. San Sebastian is not just a city, but a true adventure for body and soul, where every moment is filled with meaning and beauty. Wrocław is known for its picturesque bridges and islands that create the atmosphere of a fairy tale city. The old town impresses with colorful facades of houses and Gothic cathedrals, imbued with history and legends. Here you can meet hundreds of little gnomes, symbols of the city, which add a special playfulness and coziness. Wrocław is a city where history meets modernity, creating a unique cityscape. Pilsen is the birthplace of the famous Pilsner light beer, which gives the city a special atmosphere of festivity and hospitality. The medieval center, with its cobbled streets and Gothic buildings, seems to take you back to the era of knights and alchemists. Pilsen is famous not only for its beer, but also for its cultural traditions, which are reverently preserved here. The city impresses with its combination of antiquity and the vibrant energy of modernity. Pisa is known for its famous Leaning Tower of Pisa, which has become a symbol of architectural mystery and engineering marvel. Surrounding the tower is an ancient cathedral and beautiful squares breathing history. Despite the world fame of a single landmark, Pisa holds many secrets in picturesque corners. The city is filled with romance and the atmosphere of the Italian Middle Ages. Turin is the birthplace of Nicholas Copernicus, where old brick houses and cobbled streets retain the spirit of the Gothic Middle Ages. The city impresses with its authenticity and atmosphere of mystery, as if time has stood still here. In the old town, there are many cozy cafes where you can taste traditional Polish cuisine. Turin is a place where the past and the present are harmoniously intertwined, creating a unique flavor. Although modern Rotterdam is famous for its futuristic architecture, the old center retains traces of history and tradition. In this neighborhood, you can see old houses, canals, and narrow streets, reminiscent of knightly times. The old center is a quiet corner of the city where you can touch the roots of Dutch culture and crafts. It offers a unique blend of historical heritage and vibrant city life. Each of these amazing medieval towns is like a door to the past, where stories, legends, and secrets of the ages come to life. They not only preserve architecture and culture, but also give unique emotions, making you think about how people lived hundreds of years ago. Immersion in their atmosphere awakens admiration and inspiration, reminding us how rich and multifaceted the history of our planet is. If you want to learn even more incredible stories and discover the hidden gems of the world, be sure to subscribe to the channel. There are many exciting journeys and discoveries ahead.